Lewis Hamilton rolled into Suzuka with one thing burning in his mind. He damn well knew what was at stake. After a season kickoff that was more chaos than class, a nightmare weekend in Australia followed by a brutal DQ in China, this was supposed to be his damn redemption arc. A hard reset. The moment he and Ferrari would finally stop flirting with greatness and actually hook up with it. But no. Instead, qualifying turned into another episode of What the Hell is Wrong with the SF25? The session left Lewis looking like someone just told him his dog ran away and his espresso machine broke. The Ferrari garage? Tense as hell. And everyone started whispering the same old crap again. Is this car cursed or just plain crap? The dream team of Hamilton and Ferrari, which was supposed to be fireworks and podiums, is starting to look more like a sitcom. Strategic blunders, setup compromises, and a whole lot of facepalms. Suzuka just served as the latest punchline. That qualifying session didn't just expose cracks in the setup philosophy, it basically held up a neon sign screaming, "This ain't working." We're talking messy ride height tweaks, a balance that feels like a drunk tightrope walker, and the lingering mess from Shanghai still haunting Lewis like a bad hangover. The result? Hamilton stuck wrestling with understeer, bleeding downforce, and ending up way further down the grid than anyone in red wanted to admit. So yeah, before we tear into the juicy bits, those sweet, nerdy setup details, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on every damn notification bell so you don't miss a single plot twist in this insane 2025 roller coaster. Stick around till the end to find out how this whole Suzuka drama might mess with Hamilton's race on Sunday, and maybe even throw a wrench into his entire Ferrari fairy tale. Let's be real, after the Shanghai shitshow where Lewis got booted out thanks to the plank under his car getting chewed up like a dog toy, because, surprise surprise, the SF25 was slammed way too damn low. Ferrari's engineers were basically walking on eggshells. And I mean, tiptoeing. Like, don't touch anything or it'll explode. Levels of cautious. So, rolling into Japan, what did they do? They played it safe. Too safe. They cranked up the car's ride height, probably thinking, what's a couple of millimeters? But this is Formula One, where a millimeter might as well be a mile, and that tiny adjustment absolutely wrecked their one and only superpower, ground-hugging downforce. By lifting the car, Ferrari basically neutered one of the SF25's only redeeming qualities. The thing went from a stable missile to a twitchy diva with trust issues. Lewis was left trying to tame a machine that handled like it was on roller skates over gravel. Unbalanced, unpredictable, and most crucially, a total nightmare in the high-speed zones. The car was out of its aerodynamic sweet spot, and Hamilton? He could feel it. No confidence. No flow. Just vibes. And bad ones at that. Then came qualifying, and oh boy, it was like watching a world champ trying to thread a needle while blindfolded. He barely squeaked into Q3, and when it mattered most, the car turned around and said, "Nope." Final result? P8. Over 6/10 off the pace. For Lewis freaking Hamilton. In a Ferrari. At a track where they were supposed to be hunting podiums, not licking wounds. And after the session, Lewis didn't sugarcoat shit. He straight up said it. The ride height issue was still screwing everything up. "We're running higher than we'd like," he admitted, probably grinding his teeth while saying it. And this wasn't some tiny tweak or minor compromise. This was a full-on identity crisis for the car. To make matters worse, he dropped the bomb that he and the team weren't even aligned on the setup direction. Yep. Total disconnect. Ferrari and Hamilton pulling on opposite ends of the rope. And guess what? The car ended up going nowhere fast. Sure, sometimes teams deliberately screw around with setups just to gather some juicy data or sniff out hidden performance sweet spots. But in this case, that big brain move face-planted. Hard. Hamilton spent the whole damn session battling understeer like it was a demon from hell. And if you don't know what understeer feels like, imagine trying to turn a cruise ship through hairpin bends. It's slow, clunky, and makes even a 7-time world champ feel like a rookie in a rental cart. And where was this all happening? Freaking Suzuka. A track that lives and breathes on fast, flowing corners. You need precision, you need grip, and most of all, you need a car that doesn't fight you every time you flick the wheel. Instead, Lewis got served a setup that handled like it was built on spaghetti legs. Part of the nightmare? The SF25 setup window is tighter than a tax auditor's smile. According to folks who actually know what's going on inside Maranello, the damn car is hypersensitive to ride height, Not just too low or too high, but you better hit the sweet spot or everything explodes level of picky. Stray just a hair outside the magic zone and boom. Performance nosedives like a brick in a swimming pool. And that's exactly what happened. Ferrari tried to play it safe post-Shanghai, raised the car, and in doing so, basically lobotomized its handling. Lewis, ever the pro, he didn't throw a tantrum. He owned part of it. Said he didn't nail any magic laps in Q3 and admitted P8 was, let's say, not ideal. But come on, read between the lines. This wasn't on him. This was a guy wrestling a car that wouldn't let him be Lewis Hamilton. It wasn't about overdriving. It wasn't about mistakes. It was about a car that refused to cooperate. A chassis with commitment issues. A diva on wheels. What makes it all sting even more? Things were actually looking half-decent earlier in the weekend. Ferrari had real hopes. Their simulator work had been promising, and those new tweaks to the rear suspension dynamics were supposed to give Lewis the confidence to properly attack the corners. He was supposed to be carving Suzuka up like a sushi chef. But nope. All that progress got flushed down the toilet the moment they raised the damn car to avoid another disqualification. Safety first? Sure. But they paid for it with raw pace, and that's the price tag they're now stuck staring at. Heading into the race, Lewis Hamilton is still clinging to one tiny, glorious variable: rain. Yep, he's basically doing a rain dance in the paddock and has made it crystal clear, if the heavens open up, he's all in. "I love the rain," he said with that classic Hamilton grin, the kind that usually means, "Let chaos reign, I've got this." That's peak Lewis right there, thriving in the madness, seeing golden opportunities in the middle of what most drivers would call a living nightmare. But don't get it twisted. Starting from P8 isn't exactly ideal. It's not the end of the world, sure, but to claw his way back into the fight, he's gonna need a flawless strategy, a launch off the line like a goddamn rocket, and maybe some meteorological magic to spice things up. The bigger issue, though? It's not just Suzuka. It's the pattern. Ferrari is caught in a déjà vu loop from hell. Same fundamental crap, different weekend. We're talking hypersensitive ride height, a setup window so narrow it might as well be a tightrope, and a car that throws a tantrum the moment you tweak a single screw. For Hamilton, who came to Maranello with his eyes firmly locked on that elusive 8th world title, this isn't just a bump in the road. It's a freaking pothole the size of a swimming pool. It demands patience. But patience alone won't cut it. The team needs to get their collective shit together and deliver some proper progress. Not next year, not soon, now. And here's the thing. This ain't just about lap times and sector data. What's unfolding is something much deeper. Something almost Shakespearean. You've got one of the greatest drivers the sport has ever seen, trying to find his rhythm inside one of F1's most iconic and historically chaotic teams. A squad that's overflowing with passion, history, and ambition, but somehow still can't get their act together on a consistent basis. This chapter in Hamilton's story? It's not just about speed. It's about legacy. It's about answering the question that's haunted so many legends before him. Can anyone actually tame the beast that is Ferrari? Can he succeed where so many failed, and build something truly legendary from the chaos? The answer? Hell, we don't know yet. But what we are witnessing is raw, unfiltered, behind-the-scenes drama. A champion pushing a legendary team to its limits, while that team desperately tries to remember what the hell made it great in the first place. So yeah, bring on the rain. Lewis doesn't just want it. He needs it. Because right now, Ferrari's firepower feels more like a sparkler than a missile. And Hamilton, well, he didn't sign up to play it safe. Suzuka, man. If there was ever a place to rip the covers off Ferrari's engineering headaches, it's this twisted, beautiful circuit. What was supposed to be a solution to the Shanghai mess just ended up creating a whole new shitstorm in Japan. And no, this wasn't just a one-off setup hiccup. This was a flashing neon sign screaming, "We still don't fully get how this damn SF25 behaves when the pressure's on." Throw in some rapidly changing track conditions and a driver like Hamilton, who, let's be honest, doesn't just want precision, he demands it. And boom, you've got a car that looks more confused than a squirrel in traffic. But here's the part of the story that doesn't get shouted from the rooftops. Lewis's attitude through all this crap has been nothing short of top tier. Not once has he thrown the team under the bus. No tantrums, no emo interviews, no passive-aggressive radio rants. Instead, he's been all about breaking things down, keeping his head cool, and drilling into the nitty-gritty like a man on a mission. He's been asking the hard questions, sure, but he's doing it in a way that keeps the squad focused instead of fractured. That kind of leadership won't make the flashy headlines, but it's the real deal. It's the stuff that makes a difference if Ferrari wants to go from being a chaotic soap opera to an actual championship-caliber machine. Now, let's zoom out for a sec. We're only 4 races into the damn season. There's still a long road ahead. Development cycles are spinning, big upgrades are cooking, and between freak weather, clever strategy, and driver magic, any given Sunday can flip the script. It's still a big if, Ferrari can get their setup gremlins under control, if they figure out how to squeeze stable downforce out of the SF25 without turning it into a reliability time bomb, and if Lewis keeps dragging them forward with sheer willpower, then maybe, just maybe, weekends like this one will look like the growing pains of something that actually turned legendary. But let's not kid ourselves. The clock's ticking. This ain't 2010. The grid is an absolute war zone right now. Red Bull, ruthless as hell. McLaren, breathing down everyone's neck. And even the midfield teams are now capable of throwing a wrench into the pecking order if they smell blood. Ferrari's got the name, the history, the passion. But none of that means shit if they can't glue it all together fast. Because no one's waiting around. Not in this paddock. If Ferrari and Hamilton want to be more than just a sad-ass footnote in F1's history books, another, what could have been tale to bore us all during the off-season, then the time for half-baked fixes and tiptoeing around performance is over. They need answers fast. And they better not come with another side of, but let's play it safe. Enough of that shit. Because once those lights go out on Sunday, the real test kicks off. And it's not just about pure pace, it's about mental toughness, bouncing back when the weekend's already flipped you the bird. Can Lewis turn this swirling mess into a shot at glory? Can Ferrari finally prove they've learned something, anything, from the constant string of past screw-ups? Can this duo live up to the hype that had the entire paddock losing its collective mind when the partnership was first announced? We'll be watching every damn lap, every pit stop, every box radio message with our eyes glued to the screen. Not because of grid position or weather predictions, but because this story is bigger than that. This is about ambition. This is about redemption. This is about a living legend and an iconic team trying to rewrite history together, one brutal weekend at a time. And now it's your turn. Hit the comments and sound off. What's holding Ferrari back the most? Is it their ride height paranoia? The aerodynamics that act like a moody teenager? Or is the real rot buried somewhere deep in the team's core? In the structure, the strategy, the decision-making? And what about Lewis? Do you think he's still got the fire, the fight, the edge to drag this prancing horse all the way to the top? If you've been enjoying this wild, deep-dive ride through the human drama, the technical meltdowns, and the sheer madness that makes Formula One the most ridiculously addictive sport on Earth, do us a solid. Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit every damn notification bell you see. You're not going to want to miss what happens next in this high-stakes soap opera on wheels.